All right, good afternoon. Welcome to Chapter 3 for Criminal Law and Procedure here, John Tyler Community College, ADJ130, excuse me, ADJ211 for the summer semester 2017. Let's talk about Chapter 3 real quick, some of the main points that we want to go over for this, this chapter. Covering Week 2, Module 1 here. This chapter goes over the elements of criminal liability. You're going to see some heavy terminology based discussions and quiz questions. Focus on some of the core principles, and let's go over a few of those now. Starting off, you'll see 3.1 module talks about general and specific parts of the actual law themselves and what the difference between conduct and result crimes are. Again, result crimes being crimes that requiring actual harm, while conduct crimes are the act itself. There's no requirement to harm; it's just that the act itself was committed. It also talks about resulting harm, so be familiar with that. Going over to 3.2, we start talking about some of the core main concepts in criminal law and procedure. Really looking at actus reus, looking at mens rea, looking at concurrence and how they all fit together in a puzzle like this. So how they all kind of have to happen at the same time, right? Or that's what concurrence means. Mens rea meaning the criminal mind itself, and actus reus being the criminal act itself. And how it's not illegal to think a crime necessarily, but it's illegal to commit the crime, and how they have to occur together. However, if you were not of proper mind and body, say deemed criminally insane, something like that, you might have committed an act but not had the actual specific mens rea, the actual capacity in the mind to create that. So while you might have had an act, you might not have had the considering resulting of the two acts at the same time. So while you're doing that, just make sure you're over those two main terms there. Looking at omission itself, failure to act. Sometimes itself, the failing to act itself can satisfy actus reus, which is kind of interesting. Good Samaritan and Bad Samaritan laws. Flipping over to 3.3, again, we're talking about different intents. Be familiar with direct intent, oblique intent, general intent, specific intent, and so forth and so on. Again, still going over the mens rea part of that here. We also talk about negligence and recklessness and malice of forethought. So be familiar with those terms, and motive. Everybody's favorite thing, motive, modus operandi, all that stuff. Moving forward, concurrence, strict liability, causation, and harm. Going through the rest of the chapter here. Be familiar with legal causation, and finishing up in 3.5, the idea of ignorance or mistake of law, not knowing that there was an actual law that was being broken, or mistaking the fact of what the actual law was. So good luck with Chapter 3. Let me know if you had any questions.